Just to create, like we discussed earlier, what we're planning to do is, Secretary will probably speak for about 30 to 40 minutes. We will then have the panel react to the points that we have raised and also probably raise questions, get into a discussion mode. We're trying to see whether we get, at least we look at enough time where we have some of you getting a chance to interact with him. My request, to the panel, we agree that we will not have questions or responses will be more than a minute or two. I would request that when somebody from the audience raises a question, it's also limited to about a minute or so. Sam, can you hear us now? But I think our microphone is muted. Can you remove the muting in the microphone?
I lost you again.
Yeah, no, I think we should get you in a minute. Yes, it's muted. Yeah, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Great. Okay. Then I was just giving the rules in terms of how we will go. We look forward to hearing what you have to say, and then we will probably have the panel interact with you for some time, and then open it up to the audience after that. The session is slated till for about 1.5 hours. I think about 10 minutes is over, so we probably look at ending by around 6:15 Indian time, which is going to be just after 7 o'clock for you in Chicago. So Sam, over to you, and we all look forward to what you have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Vijayaraghavan, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Ashwa, members of the community. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you see?
We can see you very clearly, and we can hear you also well.
Okay, because I can't do. There's a lot of noise in the background.
We can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly.
It's not a point.
Yeah.
But I'll continue.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is indeed a special privilege to have this opportunity to talk to you at the Tripod Kerala to video conference from Chicago. I would thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. First, I have to talk a little bit about the unproductive itself, and then really address the questions that have been asked this related to why entrepreneurship is important to Kerala, what are the trends driving innovation in India, what do entrepreneurs need to learn from more successful operations globally, what do entrepreneurs and the ecosystem in Kerala need to do to promote, and what are some of the areas for Kerala to focus on. First, I want to begin by saying that entrepreneurship is very important in creating jobs, opportunities, prosperity, wealth, products, services, innovations, and all-around growth, not just for individual, but also for the community, state, and the nation. Without entrepreneurs, there is no way we can really meet the demand that we have today for new jobs. As you know, in our country, we have 550 million young below age of 25. We ultimately need to create 10 to 15 million new jobs every year, year after year. Governments are not capable of creating these kinds of jobs. These jobs will have to come from entrepreneurs. If we don't create million entrepreneurs, you are not going to create 15 million jobs. So how do we create large number of entrepreneurs in the country? Is going to be a big challenge. But before I go into some of these things, I want to emphasize the fact that entrepreneurship is not something new to India. If you go back in the history, India was the largest economy in the world in 1760. 27% of the world economy was essentially controlled by India and Indians. In 1760 wasn't too long ago. This tells us that Indians had a great deal of entrepreneurship activities going on in the country. We had traders, we did trade in spice, we had people moving all over the world in those days even, Silk Road. And India had trade going on with Africa, Middle East, Europe and other parts of the world for quite some time. Indian entrepreneurs have been known all over the world. And India has had a very long tradition of entrepreneurship. If you take our agricultural sector, you realize that it is all full of private entrepreneurs, small ones, but they are independent, they do their own thing, they create markets, they create local jobs, maybe within family and friends. Small little shopkeepers are also entrepreneurs. An entrepreneurial ecosystem has been intact and well protected in India for a long, long time. But at the same time, when you look at the scene today, you find that great deal needs to be done to facilitate creation of entrepreneurship. At the end of the day, you have government dictating policies and framework for entrepreneurs. You have entrepreneur, and then you have a support system for funding, banks and others, markets. And whenever I look at this ecosystem, I realize that at the end of the day, we have to make sure that it's easy to start new business. And I find that most of the governments make it a little more complicated to start a new business. Too many forms to fill, too many permissions to have, and it really doesn't encourage new people to start businesses. So one, how do we simplify starting a business in Kerala? Two, I learned that it's very difficult to close a business in India. You can't start one in a week and you can't close one in a week. Small businesses can go on lingering around for a long time. So the government policies must facilitate this whole process of starting business quickly, and if it is a very small business, closing business quickly. Then providing incentives to entrepreneurs to create jobs, to create markets, to take risks. It could be in the form of tax incentives, could be in the form of financial incentives in terms of bank facilities, loans, minimized paperwork, reporting, and then encourage buying for the government supplies and needs from local entrepreneurs. Make sure that they get paid on time. Improve labor laws to facilitate creation of jobs. All of these are very critical issues. And I find that in today's system, it is a little more complicated than it needs to be. You start a company, grow the company, provide incentives, and encourage entrepreneurs to create new opportunities and new jobs. To me, this is crux of the matter. But entrepreneurs also have major responsibilities on their side. One, to make profit for themselves and their companies and their shareholders. Two, to treat their employees with respect, dignity, be ethical, look at the welfare of the community, and really focus on solving local problems and local challenges with local considerations. It is easy to copy best. But how do we create products and services that India needs? And I have said time and time again that our biggest challenge right now is inclusive growth. Bottom of the pyramid. And bottom of the pyramid challenges require focus on affordability, scalability, and sustainability. So how do you develop products and services which really focus on these kinds of real challenges? At National Innovation Council rather, we are focused on a variety of activities, of which two things are of great importance to the entrepreneurs today, in India as well as in Canada. One, National Inclusive Innovation Fund that we are creating, ultimately 5,000 crore fund, which would fund innovations for the bottom of the pyramid in India, which would provide venture capital, risk capital, to do the right project on commercial basis, and we hope that this will create large number of entrepreneurs. There are also social entrepreneurs in India. They would also get funding from this. But the idea is to really fund on a commercial basis entrepreneurs and ideas which benefit large number of people at the bottom of the pyramid, with clear focus again on affordability, scalability, and sustainability. Second activity of the National Innovation Council relates to clusters. As you know, we have in India thousands of industrial clusters, of which we believe about 150 are substantial, focusing on leather, pharmaceutical, food processing, diamond, brassware, bamboo, auto parts. These clusters essentially consist of very small and medium-sized enterprises full of local entrepreneurs, and they need to be organized and supported to innovate and expand. I think these two activities to really create large number of opportunities going forward. But in all of these cases, we need to focus on growth, innovation, entrepreneurship, and creating new opportunities for a large number of people in the country. So when people talk of entrepreneurship, unfortunately people assume Silicon Valley model. People assume that it is all about high tech. People assume that it has to be with the same model that US has encouraged in terms of venture capital, private equity, software, computers, satellites, applications, iPhones, iPads. I think Indian needs are very different. When I look at Kerala, I find that there are so many opportunities in India from the lessons we can learn from Kerala on education, delivery of health services. Need in Kerala is also very different. With this background, I want to really make an attempt to answer some of the questions that Vijay Raghavan had put to me. One, why is entrepreneurship the way to go in Kerala? The answer is very simple. That without entrepreneurship, we are not going to create jobs. We are not going to create opportunities. We are not going to solve the problems of Kerala. And we have a large number of young people looking for jobs. Many of these people are highly educated. They spend a fair amount of time, energy, and resources to get their education. And they need to be employed. So Kerala needs to focus on entrepreneurship to create jobs, to create opportunities. Not just in Kerala, but all over the country. Entrepreneurship will have to be the key. Recognizing this, we at the National Innovation Council are in the process of working with various organizations, including the Ministry of Industries, SME, Science and Technology, to really create a national policy on entrepreneurship. We don't have a good, clear-cut policy on entrepreneurship. Maybe Kerala should push for an entrepreneurship policy of your own. But the idea behind the policy is not to have a 100-page document which complicates it further, but to really focus on 4 or 5 key areas to simplify. To simplify starting of a company, closing of a company, providing entrepreneurship, and minimizing government hassles and interface. And holding entrepreneurs responsible in the community for not doing things right, for making a contribution, creating jobs. And I think this is going to be a big challenge. Second question was, what trends do we see driving innovation and entrepreneurship from India? India has largest number of poor in the world. And India also has a fair amount of young talent. And I believe through innovations, we will learn to solve the problems of the poor and create opportunities for everyone. And I think these are the trends I see. One, with young talent working to solve the problems using new tools of science and technology. 2, working with multinationals, looking at larger global challenges, providing talent pool from India, not only to solve the problems of India, but also the problems of the large number of people in the world. I believe Indian talent is going to be very critical going forward to everyone. I tell my friends that with 15.2 billion people, we are bound to have 10 million smartphones. So we have a very large pool of young talent that could be put to use effectively. But then they need to be trained. We have a huge amount of shortages. On one hand, for the right talent, then we also have need for talent. So we need to focus on skill development, education, and National Knowledge Commission was set up just to look at that several years ago. A lot of those recommendations are being implemented, but not implemented at the pace we need. Third question was, what do entrepreneurs need to learn to be more successful globally? I think entrepreneurs need to first learn a little more about ethics, their own responsibility, a little more about concern for the community. Good business requires to be good character. Good business requires hard work. Good business requires little bit of risk-taking attitude, thinking outside the box, innovations. And I don't think we lack many of these skills. To be a successful entrepreneur globally, you first need to be successful locally. If you're not going to be successful locally, it's not going to be easy to be successful globally. So you have to start somewhere. If you start with Kerala, then you look at the Indian market, and then you look at the global market. But I'm confident that Indian entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, can be globally successful, and we have examples to show. Now we have large number of globally well-known companies from India. It wasn't true maybe 20 years ago. So I think the success in IT, telecom, auto parts, pharmaceuticals, has given us a great deal of confidence as a nation. We have now our own companies that get fair amount of respect all over the world. Our talent is well recognized. And the fact that we have gone from 2 billion to close to 1 billion phones, we are a nation of a connected billion. And that itself offers unique opportunities to use this connectivity in a very different way to create new business models for delivery of education, government services, either health, and many other areas. What do entrepreneurs and the ecosystem in Kerala need to do to promote entrepreneurship's success for Kerala? I say it again and again, that we need to make it easier for entrepreneurs to start a company, close a company, provide better incentives, and also create labor laws that encourage people to start new ventures and create employment. We have to change. And I find that many of our governments are not willing to change substantially to encourage entrepreneurship. We are still locked up in the old mindset. We want to preserve all the processes for wrong reasons. I said time and time again that we have 19th century mindset at times, 20th century processes, and 21st century needs. And entrepreneurship is the need of the hour. And we must change our processes and procedures and laws to really encourage more people to start business and create jobs. There are many areas that Kerala can focus us. Health, education are obvious because these offer unique opportunities all over the country and all over the world. And here I think technology is changing the business models. Teachers today don't need to create content and deliver content. So there is a need to use IT to improve education. There is a need to use IT in a very creative way to improve health services, e-governance, tourism, agriculture. I think Kerala also has a huge opportunities for entrepreneurs in waste management. So Kerala can create solutions not only for Kerala, but for the country. But these solutions cannot be a copycat solutions. These solutions will have to look at new models, new tools, new technology, and innovations. And that's where I think Kerala can make a contribution. Kerala does have very smart people. Kerala probably needs some better education institutions, institutions of higher learning, little more research, good interface between industry, education, and R&D institutions. All of these are challenges for Kerala. And I hope that some of these things can be addressed in collaboration with the government. I hope that this conference would bring to focus some of these simple solutions that I have talked about, that we will discuss some more. And through this brainstorm session, I am sure we'll come up with some more ideas. This is a good beginning, but we need new business models, a little more creativity. Because at the end of the day, entrepreneur has to really answer very simple questions that relate to his or her activities. One, what is that I am trying to produce? Two, who will pay for it? Why will they pay? How much will they pay? When will they pay? And will they pay more than what it costs me to make? Because I believe for entrepreneur, happiness is all about positive cash flow. Can I get more money into the company than I'm spending? These are all very simple issues, but we tend to make it very complicated with all kinds of models and spreadsheets and all. Let's not forget that a lot of the big businesses started business when there was no computer. And as a result, I see huge amount of opportunities today. With this, I want to thank organizers again and hope that we can all have a good discussion today and look forward to participating with you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear us.
I can hear you very well.
Great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to request Mr. Arun Kumar to start the discussions off. Arun is a well-wisher of Kerala, is one of the early members of TIE in Silicon Valley, partner in KPMG in the US. Actually, as was mentioned earlier, was a co-editor of the book on Kerala, which was brought out a few years ago. Arun, please.
Thank you. So Mr. Nitin, that was just a comprehensive and very, very insightful talk. And coming from someone who was also successful.
I lost you.
Oh.
Good.
Okay. I was just saying that was a comprehensive, very insightful, very interesting talk. And coming from someone who's been a successful entrepreneur as well as successful policy maker and responsible for so much change, and that's